So what have you been surviving in love lately?
I've been celibate for 5 years.
How?
I was married early.
Let's talk about that.
Hey, I'm Asha Cerise, a life coach, creative, and truth teller who helps people heal from heartbreak and find their way back to themselves. But before all that, let me tell you, at 16, I got myself involved in something I had no business being involved in. What started as young love turned into a roller coaster of grooming, gaslighting, and emotional chaos.
I'm not trying to judge you.
I was 16.
Okay.
He was a man.
What? How old?
23.
Next thing I know, I hear, busted. It was like everything turned into
Slow motion.
I look to my right. There's a car that stopped next to us, and there is a woman getting out of the passenger side, walking, real power walking, heading my way. Although I have done a lot of healing work and I transmuted that pain into my power and my purpose, my younger self has been a little silenced. I stayed quiet to protect images and to shield others from the truth, but no longer will I allow my experiences to have been done in vain. My story will save someone else's life. I chose to break the cycle and help other women do the same. But let me tell you how I got there. Want to hear it? Here it go. This is Bride and Groomed.
On the last episode of Bride and Groomed.
I ended up getting a phone call from him. And he didn't want to talk too much about it because I was confronting him about the things that I had discovered. This place that I picked him up was literally like in the back alley behind the halfway house. Like, I'm not going back to prison, so I'm out. I left. I escaped. And he had me drop him off at the baby mama's house that put me out the car. I was so sad. It was like my first little heartbreak. I think I ended up going to the Greyhound station around the time he said he would be there. He was not there. He stood me up. I'm not your girlfriend no more. He ended up getting locked up. We would talk and write letters, but we weren't official. I was getting in that car, riding up and down that highway, going to see him. Being a prison girlfriend was very interesting. I'll have to tell you the story of how one of the prisoners showed up to my house. All right, now that we're all caught up, I'm back. So, like I said, I started going to visit my ex in prison. When you go visit the prisoners, you start getting familiar with the women who are also visiting whoever their boo is at the prison as well. You have mostly girlfriends, wives, fiancés, some mothers, families, but you start recognizing people because there's a whole process to get in the prison. You have to go through screening, you have to be frisked and go through the metal detectors and all of those things. So there's usually long lines and there's a long process. So when I used to go visit him in the prison, there were a few familiar faces that I would see every time. And of course, sitting in the visitation room, you see who they're going to visit, you see the other prisoners. My ex is telling me which ones he's cool with, who his homeboys are, whatever. So fast forward to the fact that my ex is getting ready to get out soon, but I don't know how soon. I had a closet full of clothes for him that I had bought. I had saved up some money so that we was going to be straight when he got out, giving him time to get on his feet. At this point, we hadn't even decided that he was going to move in with me, but girl, these are the things that I had set in place because I did want him to come move in with me. That was on me. He had a plan to move in with his parents, his mom and his stepdad, get on his feet, and then explore the possibility of moving together at a later time. But I wanted my man. At this point, I was 19. I had been going back and forth to the prison for a while. I was ready for him to be home with me. So anywho, he was going to be getting out soon. I had all these things. How about the microphone wasn't even connected to this phone? It was connected to the other one. So you hear my laptop, my OG laptop and everything in the background. Whatever. Y'all can hear me. So, this was, you know, winding down to the time where he was getting ready to come home. I'm at home. Mind y'all, I was very intelligent. I was a very intelligent young lady, book smart. I had common sense, but I was very naive, very trusting, very green. Even though my mom used to try to put me on game about certain things, like to be aware of certain things, my dad would always say be aware and all these things. I was just super naive. Let's just say that. Let me preface this next part by saying that. So one day I'm at my apartment. All of a sudden, someone knocks at my door. I'm in the shower. I get out the shower. I look out the peephole. And it's one of the guys from the prison. One of the inmates that I see every weekend. His wife or his woman that would go see him, she was this Hispanic lady. We would talk. She was friendly. I think he was biracial. I don't know him like that. I didn't know what his charges were or anything. But in my mind, I'm thinking, why is he here? Is everything okay? So I'm like, give me 1 second. I just got out the shower. Girl, why is you telling this prison inmate, whoever this man is, that you just got out the shower? That's your first mistake. Give her grace. So I get dressed. I open the door and let him in. Mind you, don't nobody know that I'm there alone. Nobody knows that he's at my house. And I welcome this man in. He tells me, you know, everything's cool. I know your ex, you know, your man at the time. Let's just go to we're present moment in 2007 at this point. We're 2007. You know, I know your man is getting out soon, and I didn't know how to get in touch with him, but he gave me your address to link up with him when he got out. So I've been out for a while. I wasn't sure if he was home yet, so I was just coming through to check on him. I'm like, oh no, he's not home yet, but he should be home soon. So he's like creating some creating some comfort between the two of us by just being normal, saying, oh yeah, this is what's going on. And so I'm like, yeah, you know, I got all this stuff for him. I showed him the closet full of clothes. I'm like, do you think he'll like this? He's like, oh yeah, that's dope. Like, you dope to do that. I think I gave him a tour of my apartment. Like, girl, why are you doing this? So then he's like, once he establishes some trust between he and I, he starts telling me that he knows a lot of stuff that my ex is doing. My man, we're in 2007. You know, I'm going to tell you this, but you just can't tell him I told you. You know, you ain't the only woman that he's dealing with. He's dealing with a couple of his baby mamas. I've seen pictures of you, explicit pictures of you. He be talking certain things about you. He's still talking to them. I think he's planning on getting back with such and such when he gets out. So, of course, my little heart breaks instantly because I'm like, I thought we handled this. I thought me and you were exclusive, that we're working on what we got going on, and the whole time you playing me and you still talking to these other women. So I was pissed, livid, heartbroken, all of the things. So he's like, yeah, I hate to tell you, but this is what's going on. He's like, just don't say nothing. Don't tell him I told you. I was like, no, I'm not revealing my source. So this guy, tells me all these things, and he asked if I would give him a ride to some restaurant or whatever. Because what it was is he was in the halfway house. He was supposed to be searching for jobs during this time, and he moseyed on his way to my house. So I'm like pissed. I drop him off. I think he asked for my number or whatever. And that was it. I go home, immediately send my ex a JPEG. I'm typing, you did this, I'm cussing him out, going off. Usually with JPEGs, it would take like a day or two before it would get to them, because it has to be screened, and then it would take some time for him to write me back or call me. I don't know how it got on speed mode to him, but that early the next day he called me and he was like, what are you talking about? What's going on? So I was like, don't worry about it. Just know that I know what you've been doing, and it's messed up, and I can't believe you. How dare you? Da 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 da. It's over with. I can't believe you would do this to me after I've been holding you down and all of this stuff. So he's like, tell me what you're talking about. Who told you this? What's going on? So after some convincing, I ended up telling him that it was the dude. He was like, I didn't give that fool your address. Why would I do that? He was like, he probably stole it off of one of my letters. Like, he probably came in my cell and saw it on a letter and wrote it down. You need to call his caseworker right now. Tell them what happened. Tell them what time it was. Tell them all the details, because he was not supposed to be coming to your house. Tell them you're afraid and do it now. So instantly when he told me this, I'm like, green, like light bulb comes on at this point. Like, wow, I just really let a prisoner in my house that I have no idea who he is. I don't know what he was in prison for. Something bad could have happened. So I called and did what he said. He told me that the dude was lying, which he did prove to me that he wasn't talking to no other woman. He sent me his call logs. But as far as the photos and what conversations may have been told, who knows? I don't know. But I was so afraid once I really sat with myself and figured out how dangerous that was, that I went to my cousin's house. Her man at the time gave me some mace. I spent the night over there, and they were just like, what was you thinking? I was like, I don't know. But yeah, that's what happened. And I want people to learn from that, because sometimes you think certain things are just common sense, but a lot of times people are so green, trusting, and naive that these type of things can happen. When someone feels familiar to you, you know, we can learn from sinners. They ask for permission to come in. They familiar, but they not. But in real life, you have to make sure not just your little kids know about stranger danger, but your teenagers and your young adults as well, and grown people. Sometimes we can be too trusting and too naive in our adulthood. But I wanted to tell that story in order to hopefully wake someone up that may be a little bit too trusting. So I want to ask you this. Have you ever trusted someone because they were familiar to you, or they were connected to someone that you trusted, only to find out that it was the wrong decision in the end? So if you are one of the people who are requesting me to write a book, just to let you know it's happening. I created a wait list, which is linked in my description. And I appreciate y'all for holding space for me as I share my story. There hasn't been too much judgment. Again, this is my younger self. I'm no longer there, but I appreciate y'all. And on the next episode, I will be sharing how he ended up moving in with me when I was 19 and he was 26. Stay tuned.